So we are here with Willie and Derek from the LMA Rangers, and they are going to explain to us how the Rangers use application insights to monitor their projects. Willie, can you introduce yourself, please?
Morning, everyone. My name is Willie Sharp, and I'm the Program Manager for the Visual Studio ALM Rangers, and I work out of Microsoft Vancouver.
And I'm Derek Keeler. I'm a Senior Software Engineer with Microsoft Canada as well. I work out of the Vancouver office as well, and I also happen to be an ALM Ranger.
So, people may be wondering, what are the ALM Rangers? So the ALM Rangers is let's say it's an organization with 100 currently active, 100 active members, volunteer members that do some kind of volunteer work that we're going to see a little later. They are already nearing their 11th-year anniversary. They are spread over 26 countries, and they typically run 10 to 13 projects per year in parallel. So over their 10-year history, they have brought some kind of awareness to Visual Studio Team Service and TFS. So they brought us awareness with, for example, videos in Channel 9, blog posts, articles to MSDN. They wrote some guidance for either the MSDN magazine, visualstudio.com, contribute to some books, or wrote even guidance in order how to explain people how to use better Visual Studio Team Service. And they also have filled some gaps by writing some tools in order to ease the use of the project. So basically, they have built many tools over the years, but their most current tools are the Visual Studio Team Service extension. They currently have 26 on the marketplace. And this is what I'm going to, I brought Willie and Derek, so they are going to explain to us how they are using application insights to monitor those extensions. Willie, can you tell us a little how the Rangers use application insights to monitor their 26 extensions?
Yeah, so the reason we use application insights is initially we had the extensions on the marketplace. Everything seemed great, but we never really knew what are the kind of usage patterns. Are there any issues? Are there any problems? So what we use application insights for, and we use out-of-the-box telemetry like users, sessions, exceptions, and also in some cases custom events to monitor kind of usage patterns. How are the extensions used? Which features used most often? Which features are not used? So we can get kind of a usage pattern back to understand where we add value, and more importantly, to understand where there are problems. So the other feature we use, smart detection, I think it's called smart detection these days.
Or proactive detection.
Proactive detection. So we use proactive detection alerts to notify us if there are probable kind of problems or problem patterns out in the cloud in terms of the extension, so we can react as quickly as we can, and always make sure that we deliver value to our users. So that's where we use application insights.
So would it be fair to say that before using the proactive, you were gorging the portal, doing refresh in order to understand if there were problems? You were doing it manually? Is that it, or?
Yeah, a few months.
Or you expect errors from the users?
No, I guess a few months ago we used to listen to feedback from the users. Then we started using application insights, and we literally stared at the application insights dashboard 24/7. And then we started using smart detection. And since we're using smart detection, at least today in kind of my world, I don't go to the dashboard unless I get an email telling me there's a probable cause to investigate a problem.
Okay, so you are sleeping a little better now?
Yes, so I'm sleeping a lot better. There's also a lot less detection alerts coming through, which is something I think we discussed earlier this morning.
That's right.
Because a few weeks ago, or months ago, I used to get overwhelmed by alerts coming in to a point where I actually started ignoring them. And I mentioned that to you as well. It was too much, and I started ignoring it. Now I get about one a week. So either our extensions are behaving that much better.
Of course they are.
Of course they are. Or something's changed in the background in terms of how these alerts are.
Well, from what I understand in the Application Insights team, they've actually put a lot of work into making those proactive detection alerts actually give you usable, reasonable data. Otherwise, it becomes noise, and people will just ignore it, and then what's the use? So yeah, they're very careful to make sure that anything that they send out actually means something to the user.
People may not know yet, we haven't talked about it, but proactive detection uses machine learning in order to try to understand if the application is going to have some kind of issues in the future. So it proactively monitors, and if there is some kind of lag, for example, the application response time baseline has jumped to the roof, or has seen an increase that is not normal, and that's how it detects that there are potential problems in the application coming. So perhaps the machine has learned a little more with usage, and now it's a little better. I'm just speculating, but that's what the feature does. So it learns, it uses machine learning algorithms in order to try to anticipate problems. So perhaps it has learned a little better as you have fed data with it over the time.
Yeah, machines are much better at doing a machine's job than we are. So.
Okay. So to recap, you were not using application insights, so you were a little blind how much user the extensions had. You of course you could see the downloads on the portal, but besides from that, you didn't know if people already were using or not. So application insights fill that gap, and you now know the usage.
Yes.
You can also monitor for errors instead of relying on someone reporting it. So,
and that for me is the best feature of application insights, is that proactive alert, because very often we can actually react to the problem before you as a user kind of notifies us through the marketplace.
And you are using custom events in order to understand what kind of features people use, just besides assessing the feature itself.
Yes.
Is that a fair assumption? How do teams typically do it in terms of?
Not all teams use custom events, but we have that example of the folder management extension with which you can create folders. And the team wanted to know from the beginning, do users typically work in Git repos or TFVC repos when they create these folders? So the folder management extension has 4 custom events that we're tracking, and 2 of them tell us which version control system was used when that folder was created. So a few months ago, if we would have looked at the stats, more folders were created in TFVC than Git, and more recently that has actually pivoted. So again, it's kind of giving us a pattern of what are the users using within that extension.
So it can give and even provide you hints to other projects in order where you should invest in terms of usage and stuff like that. So it's even not contained in the project itself, it is giving you intelligence in order to contribute to other projects.
Gives us a real insight without personal information. I need to highlight that we are not capturing personal information. You mentioned that in an earlier session. Even in the custom events, we make pedantically sure that we do not capture personal information. We just want to detect usage patterns, not what the user, i.e. Thiago, is doing at that time.
So it's all anonymous. You have aggregated data, how many users, different users, but you don't know who they are.
We don't know who they are. The only information that we can get from application insights through the out-of-the-box data is where in the world that kind of usage pattern is most prevalent. So for example, Countdown extension, funnily enough, is an extension that is used most in Switzerland, a very small country, but they use that extension most often. So that, again, is kind of a usage pattern that you can get out and make decisions in terms of what is really valuable to the user out there. What should we invest in?
Okay. I think we now have a better idea how application insights can be used and is being used in the real world by teams who have found some ways in order to benefit and to increase value in the work they do.